Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Curiosity Cache, episode 6, I think. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Awesome.
Alive.
Hooray! That's the important part, right? And I realized I just opened the wrong screen, so everyone gets to look at the wrong screen for a second. There we go.
Hooray!
There's everyone's wonderful faces. So last time that we got to play, we ended as you guys were getting back to the Curiosity Cache shop, and a certain horde of rats that you had locked inside may have eaten the entirety of Dr. Zagini's goops, random goops, which, it was Dhesim told them to, right?
It's nutritious.
That's right. And as you got closer, there was this like weird glowing light that every so often would like flash brighter. And Hiovu was standing across the street watching, with just this look of like, what the fuck on his face. And you opened the door, and sure enough, there was this little green light emanating from the hole in the floor, and a hand began reaching out. So as you're standing there now, this hand slowly creeps up and grabs like the stone of the floor and starts grasping it, and you hear a voice that says, "What the fuck happened here?" And behind you, Sajida kind of pokes her head over your shoulder. "What the fuck is that?"
There's a perfectly good explanation for this. And our Slytherin is going to explain it. Go.
Yeah. I'm just pointing at Dhesim.
I am Dhesim.
Yes, Dhesim, I know you're Dhesim. What happened? And what is that? And as she points, you notice that the hand is joined by another hand, and then this like little furry snout. And I'll say little in like, it's smaller than Dhesim, however, definitely larger than a normal rat. Pokes over the edge of the hole and is wiggling. Its whiskers are twitching as it sniffs the air. It definitely has this green emanation coming off of it.
I have a question. That rope that we use to lock the door every once in a while, is that still by the door?
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to run up and like, grab that rope
Okay.
and give one end to whoever's closest to the door, honestly.
I feel like Pracha was pretty far forward.
Prasha?
Yeah.
Braca is trying to get out of the room, so probably closest to the door. Like, you can tell Braca's starting to get afraid of rats at this point.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'll give one end to Pracha and be like, if you hear me screaming, yank.
Are you sure you want to?
Oh,
I'm not
I
saying
absolutely
don't do it.
don't want to, but I also don't know what else to do.
Okay, I'm gonna take the rope.
And then I'm just gonna start tying and start going towards that glowing hole with the snouts.
Gotcha. So as you get closer, you see this rat-shaped being that is definitely larger than a rat, but also looks a little mutated. Like it definitely has like more of a torso, and its arms are longer, and it has like hind legs that are more like Decim's, where like they're starting to be humanoidish. Like,
Is this how Slytherin
Like, hold on. I feel like we should ask, like, how did you get here, Dhesim? What is the...
right? And you notice that like its fur is like multiple colors. So you have like some patches that are like kind of like a dark tan, and some are black, and there's a patch over here that's like this kind of cream color. And as you're watching,
Oh, dear God.
another little rat like runs up and kind of sniffs the larger creature that's poking its head over the hole, and there's this flash of green light, and that rat is gone, and you notice the other rat grows a little larger, and then is looking at you.
Oh no.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oof. Friede is okay, so here's a logistics question. I think I may have casted Talk with Animals last time. I don't remember. Please say I didn't.
I feel like you did because you were trying to find something out.
Crap. Okay.
But that could have been a different game. It's been a long time, so
It has. All right.
We'll go with you. You did not.
Okay. So I'm gonna cast Talk with the Critters
Okay.
and attempt to talk with this half Dhesim, half rat thing, and be like, hey, are you you okay? How you feeling?
It kind of jerks its head as it looks at you, and you notice like one paw kind of slips, and he's kind of it is kind of hanging off, and it looks down, and you realize it's standing on one of those rafters that's holding up the stones, but that rafter's also broken, so it kind of slips and like just sits on the rafter and is watching you.
Okay. We should probably close the door. just a thought.
Yeah.
Sajida looks around to make sure there's no one like in the street watching and hurriedly pulls the door closed.
Thank you, Sajida.
Yeah, thankfully the sign is still hidden.
Fair enough. Yep. Braca, as she closes the door, did you want to stay in or do you want to head out? Because you were kind of making your way out, so she's not going to lock you in.
I want to stay with everyone else, but Braca's clearly not happy about it.
Okay. As she closes the door and you're kind of like eyeing the outside with longing, you do notice Hiovu kind of like leans over as the door is closing to like get a better view, and then the door closes.
Yeah, so Braca's making the praying motion back.
So as the door closes, there's another flash of light, and Friede, you can see where another rat had like run up and essentially morphed into the other one.
We need.
I don't even know what kind of check this would be.
What do you want to do? I'll tell you what check it is.
Okay, I want to look at this rat thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at my boy Dhesim, right? My buddy, who I've been around a long time, and I want to see, are there similarities beyond like the potential white fur and the long like legs? Like, are there similarities between Dhesim and this rat? Because if this is like Dhesim's little brother or sister in a sense, I can't just leave them there like hanging. I gotta help them up.
So do a either history or nature check, depending on whichever you want to.
I don't think either. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll and add a thing. Okay, 14.
14. So you were pretty sure this is not how Slytherin are made.
Right.
But, like, is it related to Dhesim? That one is questionable.
Close enough. I'm just gonna, all right there, buddy, and try to yank.
So do you say, like, are you talking to it as you're pulling it up?
Yeah, out loud.
Make a wisdom save.
Ooh.
It's gonna be a weird frozen Slytherin soon.
Wisdom save. That's a 7.
A 7. So
That's a 7.
as you say, all right there, buddy, come here, and you go to like grab it. It looks at you, and you feel this really strange, but actually not completely, for you, unfamiliar feeling, as there's this like pushing in your head, like it almost feels physical, like in your brain.
Right.
And then you hear, all right there, buddy, come here, in your head.
Ooh.
Letting go. Nope.
Its eyes kind of widen as you let go, and it grasps the edge again. What's everyone else doing while this is happening?
I'm holding the rope.
Braca?
Looking at Dhesim's like, can you like maybe negotiate a hey rats, little friends of mine don't get absorbed by the big alien one?
What do you mean?
Are you sure that glowing rat is still rat and friend as opposed to weird alien monster?
Dhesim does not have alien monsters as friends. But Dhesim will ask.
Yes, ask if that one is still friend.
Okay. Wasn't there someone behind us?
Sajida, yeah. The other worker
And
at the
Sajida
shop.
asked us what had happened?
Yeah.
Yes.
I will simply tell him that we broke into a house. We broke into a house and we got the rocks, and then we went to the place where Master likes to go with the women who dance like birds. And now we're back. And that's what happened.
So she starts off and she's staring, like after she closes the door, she's staring horrified into the pit. And every so often she looks around the store to like make sure it's not going to fall over. But as he's explaining this, her gaze shifts to Dhesim and this confused look crosses her face. And that put a hole in the floor? And what is that?
That's Dhesim's friend.
So the hole in the floor.
It's from the giant statue.
Yes.
I
Well,
tried to
actually,
fix it.
Well, technically, it's actually from Braca falling through the floor.
No, it's from the statue. The statue caused the damage, and then,
And then you fell through the floor.
like I said, I tried to fix it.
Yeah. Okay, so Braca tried to fix the floor.
And you
fell
let
through
him?
the floor. Yeah, I mean, is there anybody else we can hire right now?
That's fair.
Hey, you know I'm good at the physical fixing of things.
Yes, absolutely.
I just need to have the instructions in front of me.
Yep. Well, we gave, I wanted to give Braca a shot, so we gave Braca a shot. So that's how the hole is there. And then we were trying, the statue got stolen, by the way. People intruded and we fought them off, but they left. And so we decided to try to track it down. And then Dhesim was really great and invite all his friends here. And so we were like, okay, this is going to be awesome. We have all these friends here, aka rats, lots of rats. And then he explained to the rats to go and search out for the statue. They found the statue, and so they brought us to this location. We couldn't get in, so I might have possibly encouraged the door open. And then we went through, and then I had to encourage another door open. And then after I encouraged the doors open, we wound up finding the smash statue, which we brought some pieces back, but I figure we can't sell it now. So anyway, we come back, and all the rats have been hanging out, and then Dhesim fed them all the tonics and stuff for payment, and so they ate all the tonics, and then they were in the floor, in the hole, because they like holes, because they're rats. I don't know, I guess it's a Slytherin rat thing, and then they wound up turning into this. So that's pretty much catches you up.
See, super simple.
Right? She glances out the window and just like watches for a moment, and she's like, "Were you followed?"
No.
Possibly.
Don't
With our luck, probably yes. There's a reason I stole the
man.
sign.
Wait, why? How do you know people were watching us?
Oh, you ask her that?
Mhm.
There's somebody over there. I can't quite see them from here.
God
But
damn.
like if you were
Are-
breaking and entering, if guards caught you or saw you,
Encouraging the door to open. There
Correct.
was no
yeah, that's what I meant
minimal
to say.
breaking. Minimal breaking.
Do you?
Only the door broke.
I heard someone in immediate distress in there.
we gently put the door to the side, so that they could reattach it later. So I feel like
We did
that's
not take the
helpful,
door.
yes.
She just pinches her nose, breathes deeply for a few minutes.
Tomorrow, this is going to be hilarious.
While this is going on, Dhesim and Friede, what are you doing?
I'm going to check out my happy friend.
Okay.
I will not. Prasha has me like secure, so I'm just going to bite the bullet and just like pull it up.
Oh, so you're gonna grab the rat and try and pull it up?
Yeah.
I will assist.
Gotcha. So Dhesim, you see Friede like reach forward to grab the rat. What do you do?
I will assist.
Okay. So the two of you go to grab the rat. Are you being forceful about it? Are you like... What kind of vibe are you putting off?
It's my friend. Of course I'm going to help it in the most friendly of ways.
Of course.
It is Dhesim trend, but it also freaked me out, so I want it up here as quick as possible.
Okay. So go ahead and do a... one of you do an athletics check at advantage. Whoever wants to roll it can.
I'm going to assume we're both just the weakest.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Hold on. Yeah, so athletics, huh? Do. Oh, yeah.
Oh, 18.
Nice.
How do I have a -5 in my athletics?
What?
That seems a
My
little
strength is,
weird.
Yeah.
my strength is 10.
That should be 0.
Yeah, it should just be 0.
I know. That's click just in.
Well, while you're figuring that out, the two of
That's
you
weird.
grab the rat thing, and in your head, Friede, there's like this weird kind of shriek of surprise. And Dhesim and Friede, you can both hear with your ears, like audibly, there's like a similar, like squeaking noise as you haul it out of the hole. What do you do?
I'm gonna tell it everything's gonna be fine, while I try and figure out why I have a -5 in my strength.
Go ahead and do a wisdom check or save for me, Dhesim.
Wisdom save value 42. Yes. Your 10. Enter. I don't understand. Wisdom. Wisdom saving throw. A 20.
A 20. So there's like this weird sensation in your head, almost like somebody's pushing on the front of your skull, but nothing happens.
What do you mean, like pushing on my skull?
So without there actually being somebody in front of you pushing on your skull, you get this sensation as though something was.
Is this something I'm familiar with?
No, not really. At least not,
Oh,
you know, actually not in the like you can't see someone doing it. Every so often you might have somebody that's like pushing you away. because you're like
When
trying
I'm
to
trying to
sell.
sell something.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
feels like that, but there's no one actually pushing you.
Okay, so it's like a no, don't do this sort of sensation, or get away, Dhesim, or you smell Dhesim, take a bath.
Yeah, you might correlate it to that. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm gonna ignore that, and I don't know. Tell it's everything's gonna be fine. You look great.
Are you speaking to it in Ledian?
No, in rat speak.
Okay, so you're doing your communicate with rat things. It
Yeah.
tilts its head at you, and while it's doing that, you notice a couple more of the rats kind of climb up out of the hole and like are squeaking and looking around. And one of them runs over, and there's a flash of green light, and it disappears. And the larger one kind of looks down where it was, and twitches his foot like where it had touched it, and you can see it like flexing its toes. And sure enough, it's starting to look more and more like you, in shape, not in color.
It's patchwork, though, right?
Yeah, it's definitely patchwork. In fact, you probably have noticed by now, wherever one touches it and is added to it, the color of that rat stays. So it's probably a conglomeration of many rats.
I like where this is going. I think going to encourage my other friends who may be around sniffing at this thing to just join with it, because clearly this is the Vietnamese. This is the new form. We shall be supreme.
I like
I
it.
shall say this is Slytherin.
Congratulations.
In a brief moment of echoes of a time past.
This little light bulb appears over Dhesim's head. While this is happening, Pracha and Braca, what are you doing?
I'm going to assume everyone's safe, so I'm gonna like drop the rope now.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm gonna turn to Sujita. So I have once we deal with this, we have an idea. We're going to go adventuring to potentially get a little bit more money for the shop, and collect one of the items. But we do need someone to watch the shop in the meantime.
She's kind of nodding as you're talking, but her eyes are never leaving the rat creature.
That's fair.
Does that sound... Sujita...
Oh yeah, that's fine, but you're going to get rid of this first. You are not leaving me here by myself with this.
No. Dhesim now has a new son or daughter, and they will come with us.
And this is how weird origin stories get made. Like, didn't you know this is how Slytherin are born?
Well, I mean, if you look at the way Slytherin were made way back in the day, those Titans were delicious.
Checks out.
Nom 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 nom.
Nom 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 nom.
Yeah, so you know, Dhesim's now father, and he'll teach his new son or daughter to adventure with us. So you won't be left alone with whatever Dhesim names them.
So she kind of walks towards the hole, but she obviously skirts around to the other side and glances over, trying to not step too close to the hole. Oh my god, there's still like dozens of them down there.
Dhesim's, we're going to have Dhesim tell them to, you know, encourage them to leave, similar to how I encouraged the door open. And so hopefully they'll no longer be there. In the meantime, I'm going to look around. Is there anything that could serve as like, oh, we have a table. I'm going to go over to the table that we have. Is there anything on the table right now, actually?
I mean, there's like a couple tables, and you could clear off the couple of items that are on any of them.
I'm gonna take, the few items off of this table and gently put them to a side. Then I'm gonna shift the table over and turn it upside down over the hole.
Okay. So the one rat that's sitting there kind of like squeaks and gets out of the way as the hole is covered up by Pracha. Braca, what are you doing?
So I'm going to look at the large rat creature and say to the creature, it's been a weird day. This all makes a whole lot of sense. So I'm just going to guess you can understand what I'm saying, right?
Go ahead and do that wisdom save for me. Oh, your audio cut out if you're talking.
Oh, I hit the wrong button on push to talk.
Gotcha.
I'm like, wait, it can understand?
So what was your wisdom save?
That's a 7.
A 7. So yeah, you feel this
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Nope, that's a 7.
Okay. So you get this like weird sensation in your head, and like your ears almost pop from it, it's like this shifting in the pressure around your head, and in your mind you hear, "It's been a weird day."
It talked back to me in my head.
It talked back to you?
The racket talk it's talking in my head. It said it's a weird day, just like I'm having a weird day. Is there anything we could do for it? What do you want us to call you?
In your head, like it tilts its head and looks at you, and in your head you hear, "What do you want us to call you?"
Yes, I asked, what do you want us to call you?
It glances over at Friede and at Dhesim. Friede, in your head you hear, "What do you want us to call you?"
And you say I've felt this before, right?
Yeah, it seems familiar, like this weird like presence in your mind. This one feels different in the way that like you know where it's coming from.
Right.
As you think about it, this feels really weird in a... Sorry, hang on one sec. Hey, John, mute your mic while you're talking for a sec. Thanks. While you're typing. It's super loud. Thanks. It reminds you of like that weird presence that's kind of been following you around since you got here, and why you wake up on the docks. Like an outside force in your head.
Right. But I'm very aware that this isn't that force.
You are aware that this is not that specific force, but that like presence in your mind that isn't you.
Okay.
You're correlating that.
So then I want to do an insight check on this multi-rat entity.
Sure.
And are you good at insight? I mean, you're not bad at insight. 18?
Okay. What are you trying to figure out?
I'm trying to figure out, because like when it first said like come here, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna like fuse me into his like rat body, and I freaked out and I dropped it. Now it looks more like a confused child who's like imitating words. So I want to figure like, is that what it is? Are you like afraid? Like what's going on in your like minds?
Yeah. And with what Brock has said, you definitely get the feeling that it is repeating back in your head what you're saying out loud.
Gotcha. Then I'm gonna put on my babysitter voice. Like it's okay. Come over here, Uncle Friede and Papa Dhesim will take care of you.
Do a.
And I want to beckon the thing.
Sure. Do a persuasion check.
Oh, you can do this, Friede. You can.
I believe in you.
I'm gonna push the table slightly open to make a small rat-size hole, because I realize trapping them down there is probably not a good idea either. But at least people are not gonna fall in the hole.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Friede?
21.
A 21. It looks at you and its whiskers twitch and it just slowly like kind of moves forward and you realize like it's definitely it doesn't walk upright like Dhesim does, but neither does it. It's not really shaped like a rat anymore, so it's kind of almost like a monkey moves. You know how they like kind of yeah. So it's like doing that and it seems super awkward, but it like manages to like get forward to you.
Dhesim, what are you naming him?
Oh, thanks to a rat folk name generator.
Yeah.
Dhesim gets his cell phone out and it's all like fantasynamegenerators.com.
There's actually a rat folk name generator
awesome.
under fantasynamegenerators.com.
Yay.
This episode brought to you by
I use it all the time.
Yep.
Sriggick. Sriggick will be its name. Well, what's its gender, I suppose?
You gonna look?
I mean, it's kind of hard not to look at that thing.
Well, I mean, he's all furry and stuff, so it's not necessarily like dangling out or
Have
anything.
you seen a male rat before?
It's not. It doesn't have its bits exposed.
Okay.
So
I'll still stick with that. We'll just say that that's a gender-neutral Slytherin name.
Go ahead and spell that for me.
Sriggik. Sriggick. In Slytherin, it means tiny one who came from the hole and did not die on birth.
And it's funny because there's actually a lot of Sriggicks out there.
Yes. They usually die though, like after the second or third week of their life. That's when you get your next name.
Right.
Dhesim, obviously his first name, but he doesn't go very deep into that. So Sriggick, who has survived his first day out of the hole, clearly needs pants because it's child and can't be just left to be exposed all willy-nilly. These aren't Slytherin here. While we may not have modesty, these people do for some reason, and so we need to make sure that it's up to standard. Do we have curtains or something?
Upstairs, there's like blankets and stuff.
You can take my blankets.
In our
I honestly don't use them.
bedrooms.
Do you have an extra pair of pants, Dhesim? They're around your size.
Who? What?
Do you have an extra pair of pants that you can give to it? Because
Dhesim is barely wearing anything that resembles pants at this stage. I mean, most of his clothing looks like it's about to fall off.
Never mind.
Yes, there's not a lot of modesty in this group.
No, clearly not. Dhesim will take his threadbare shirt and kind of fashion some kind of covering, some level of modesty for this child.
So like this 80s sweatshirt wrap around your...
Yeah.
Okay. It just kind of looks at you and it moves and is watching you as you're doing it. And then it just looks at you and twitches its nose.
I will totally dote all over it. I think it's adorable. It's the best thing that's ever happened.
This is amazing. Good jobs, treats all around.
Yeah.
About halfway through this, Sajita's like, I just can't do this right now. And she walks back and like goes into the workshop area and closes the door.
Wait, no, before...
Thank you, Sajita. You're doing great.
I'm sorry. I figured one of us should say it.
Yeah, I mean, whether she believes you or not is one thing, but you should at least say it.
Well, I am sorry, even though it's not my fault at all. I'm very sorry.
That is fair.
We have another friend who can like talk to us by saying exactly what we say.
What?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk to it and say, I'm sorry.
Okay. It looks at you, and without really, like, you don't get the feeling it, like, understands, but in your head you get, I'm sorry. And it sounds a lot like your voice in your head.
Ah. See? This is how I'm going to learn about them, and, well... learning those words, I'm sorry, it's very helpful. it helps diffuse conflict.
That is totally fair. So, Dhesim has begun dressing this thing, has given it a name. Dhesim, while you're dressing it, you don't really notice that it has any gender.
Odd.
So, you're not really sure what to, like, call it.
Sriggick is appropriate.
Yeah.
Small one who emerged from the hole and is not dead, I think, is a pretty good start.
Yeah.
We'll give it a new name later when it has earned its new Slytherin name. But at the moment, I think that's an appropriate
Yes.
appropriate name. Yeah.
So, what does everyone do? Like,
I don't.
In the middle of doting,
yeah.
I remember that Sujita said there may be someone outside
Mm-hmm.
who was looking in that potentially followed us.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a break from doting and ease over to the door and just kind of. Do I see?
Go ahead and
any
make a perception check.
perception?
You have dark vision, right?
No,
Oh, that's right. You do not.
I do not.
Okay.
Yeah, you're the one who couldn't see in there.
Yep, I had no clue. I was like, I see things moving. Doesn't matter though, 'cause I got a 3.
Excellent. So you look out, and like there's light coming from the Plentiful Cup across the street. In fact, Hiobu is still kind of sitting there. At this point, it looks like he's like cleaning his nails with a knife or something, and he glances up and looks at you. Is everything okay?
Oh. I should probably talk to Hiobu.
Come here.
He looks around and walks over. Yes.
I'm gonna like let him in. We have a new like nephew.
Oh,
or
what the
niece.
fuck is that?
Oh,
That is Sriggick.
What?
why?
Why did you let them in?
Yeah, why?
He was our buddy.
Yeah. Okay.
Dhesim
So
now
we've
has.
got two proud parents over here. I don't understand, but they're all happy, so I'm happy for them.
Hiobu just kind of nods. Under his breath, Friede, you can kind of hear him say, "And I thought my life was weird."
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Did you need something?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just looking around to see like who else was outside. Anyone particularly angry? You haven't seen anyone angry outside, right?
Well, most people are angry around me, but
That's fair.
I assume you don't mean like that.
No, I mean like more or less so angry in our general direction.
Some people were looking at the store funny when the flashing was good, and as he says that, the other rat that's out runs up and runs into Sriggick, and
Sriggick.
there's a flash. He's like, yeah, just like that. There was a flash. Where did that rat go?
That's a lot of things have happened, and we should focus on one thing at a time right now.
Focus on what's important.
What's important?
He says he hasn't really seen anyone that looks angry. No.
Works for me. All right. Well, then we're gonna make sure Sriggick is like nice and comfortable. You can stay, or you can leave as your face is.
Yeah, I'm gonna step out.
It's very nice seeing you.
If you guys need anything,
Yeah, I will. I will let you know.
Yes.
I will let you know.
Bye.
So,
You're not sure if you guys close the door behind him faster than he pulls it shut behind him, but the door is shut.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue encouraging the rest of the rats to come up here and join with Sriggick.
Sure, make a persuasion check.
Seems like the correct thing to do, correct? I think that's correct.
I mean, I guess it depends on your outlook, but yeah, I would see Dhesim thinking this is a good idea.
yeah, Sure.
It's a great idea. It's the best idea. I'm made of amazing ideas. What is that? That is a... Did that roll? It did not roll. Last I see is a perception roll. Let's try that again.
Dun, 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 dun.
You said persuasion, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Aha! 14.
14. You definitely see some of them like scurry around and they're like climbing up all of like the wall rocks and stuff to get to the broken beam. And they jump up on there and they climb through the little hole that's left between the table and the hole itself. And yeah, they just pile on. And there's like this kind of like strobing.
As they do that, does this creature become more upright, more Slytherin, or does it just gain mass? What exactly
It definitely
happens?
is gaining mass, and you notice that it seems to gain mass more in the area that it's touched. And so at this point, like a lot of it is like in its feet and its arms, like the parts that are now closer to the ground as it's like holding itself more upright. So its arms get longer and its feet and legs get longer.
Do you need to try and rotate your child so it grows properly? I can't believe I said that.
Rocco is very smart. He knows how to make babies. I should be more selective as to where they go and try and shape a perfect child.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want to do let's do an intelligence check for you to like figure out what's going to be best.
Intelligence.
I once had a store.
That did not roll. Try that again. Intelligence. Click this into chat. Yes. There we go. 12.
12. Okay. While Dhesim is doing this, what are the rest of you doing?
Praying.
Yeah. Who are you praying to?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go. I'm kind of watching this, but I'm gonna maybe go to the back to find maybe paperwork for Dr. Sugini's stuff.
Gotcha.
This isn't something that should be able to happen with
What?
random snake oil stuff.
Okay. So as you walk in back, you notice that the lamp in Belky's office is on, and so you look in and Sajita's sitting at the desk, and she's just like holding her face, and every so often her shoulders kind of like jump as she sobs.
Sajita, it's okay. We'll...
I am gone for like 2 days, and I come back, and the store is falling over. The one bit of money that we were about to make is gone. You lot are gonna go become adventurers?
No, well, okay. So here, I'm going to sit down, or at least, you know, kind of get more on her level because I'm tall and
right.
I don't want to make it worse. So look, we have a plan, and that is to go out and get a few more items. Obviously, the statue wasn't going to be bought anyway. He refused to buy it. I'm not sure if you heard about that.
She just nods.
But because he wasn't going to buy it, we honestly, it getting stolen was one of the better things that could happen because it was out of our store.
Wait, how did that thing get stolen? It was like 20 feet tall.
So the people that stole it knew the way to shrink it, so they were able to get it out of you know, our place. Unfortunately, the floor was damaged with it being here, so we weren't able to do much. Again, I did give you know, an opportunity to one of our people to fix it, and it didn't work out as I'd hoped, but that just means we still need to get more money. So we are good at things that adventurers are normally good at, which are, you know, encouraging doors open and stuff like that. So honestly, our skills are probably best utilized out there to bring money in. And, you know, if you'll watch the store, you can be the person that makes sure everything goes smoothly, because you're honestly, Sujita, you are really good at that. You are amazing at that, and that's why you're here. You have a purpose. And I know it seems really rock bottom right now, but we can only go up from here.
She just sighs deeply and she's like, let's fucking hope so. Friede, what are you doing?
Now that Sriggick is like being tended to by Dhesim, like making sure that all the rats go in the proper places, I'm gonna sit down, long exhale, because it's been a long day.
It has.
I'm just gonna take it all in and just kind of like ruminate on, I guess, like that outside presence again.
Okay.
Because I kind of forgot about it for a while as we were like encouraging doors open. Some better at encouraging doors open than others. I just kind of think about like, if Sriggick's outside presence was like an entity there, there probably is some other outside presence that has an entity somewhere, and maybe I could figure out what it is, because I am tired of waking up on the dock.
Yeah.
Like, it's where like water splash on you, but it's not like, you know, hotel beach water. It's that like dock water that's
right.
like brown, and
it's also weird because, you know, like where you came from, most water's frozen, so having water splashed on you, you're just like
it's supposed to be like solid and not like moving and
right.
like separate, and like nothing makes sense. I don't like it, so I'm just gonna like sit down and like take a deep breath and kind of think about that while Dhesim and Sriggick do their thing.
Perfect. Braca, what you doing?
So, I think that Braca may need a little space at this point, so he's gonna just sigh a little bit, open the door, start walking towards the little nook outside where he hid the sign.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so you get out there and it's still there. No one has found it.
Cool. Look around to see if anyone is watching.
Sure. Go ahead and make a perception check. And remind me, can Ironbread see in the dark?
30 feet.
Okay.
So I see 4 in my future.
So you look around. Hiovu is sitting over there. You feel like, even with your 4, you notice he is blatantly trying to not look at you. Even though he said, if you need anything, let me know, you get the feeling that tonight would not be the night to call on him for help, because he doesn't want anything to do with what's going on inside that shop. There are some people that are hanging out at the Plentiful Cup outside. They're just sipping coffee. None of them are looking at you or watching what's going on. Seems like after the light show stopped, they don't really care any longer. And that's all you notice.
So I start taking the sign inside the store to basically try and board up anything so we could try and cover up some of the lights.
Okay.
Just in case there's more light show.
So, yeah.
Basically,
yeah,
I want to store the sign somewhere else overnight, but still take the sign down while we've got glowing rat problem.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Okay, so you go inside. Do you want to just put it in the workshop, or you could put it upstairs, or you could throw it down the hole?
There's a part of me that's thinking if I could take it upstairs, just take it right to my room.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think your room. I'm pretty sure your room was in the middle, and so like, no one would see it from in there. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea to you. So Braca heads upstairs. Braca, you walk through the workshop, and you can hear Pracha and Sajida talking in Belky's office. There's some ruffling of papers, and Pracha, at this point, like you've kind of started going through looking for any paperwork that Dhesim brought you as far as the Dr. Zagini stuff goes. And as you look at it, like really it's all just bill of sale. There's nothing that says like any of the ingredients. There are definitely no health warnings, nothing like that. In fact, the only thing on there besides like how much it was in like the breakdown of the inventory is like, and you remember him having you sign it, but you didn't really look at it. It's essentially like a waiver that doesn't hold Dr. Zagini liable for any problems that might arise from usage of the product.
Okay, so all right, that's fine. I'm gonna gently put the papers away. Great. Okay.
Dhesim, up front, you're hanging out with Sriggick. What do you do?
I'm going back through my memory.
Okay.
Long time ago in the swamps, way to the east of this town. I mean, I know what a foamer is. This is not a foamer.
It's not a foamer, no.
But isn't there a type of mutant Slytherin?
I think so.
Can't remember the player. Can't remember off the top of my head what they're called. But
I will look for that. But while I'm doing that, keep talking.
Have I seen something like this before?
No, not at all.
Well, we're going to have to, I guess, just keep putting rats where it needs to be. I'm curious to see, like, what the threshold, I suppose, is. Does it need to take all the rats in the world? Does it only have so many rats it needs to fulfill its final form? Or
so, as they're doing, like, as the rats keep joining, you do get it pretty, like, once the rats that came up and joined with it are done, it's a fairly symmetrical creature. Not perfect. Like, it definitely like leans a little, and its right arm is a little longer than its left arm, and so like when it like kind of hunches down, you can see it lifts up that left arm and just holds it, whereas its right fist just like is what it's leaning on. Has a little bit of hunch to it, so it definitely is not quite Slytherin, but you did pretty well.
I'm pretty proud of my achievements here. I'm going to transition into speaking in Slytherin exclusively while I'm around it, because I needed to learn its native tongue. I'm going to try and get it to repeat words if it's capable of speech. It seems to be pretty highly functioning for it being a newborn.
Yeah, and every so often you get that sensation in your head. The others have said that they can hear it talking in their head, but you have not heard this yet.
Can I allow it?
So if you would like to, you can choose to fail the save.
I will choose to fail the save.
Okay. So you like open your mind to it, and essentially as you're speaking, like you'll say words to it, and then those words will come back, and it sounds almost like you, maybe a little changed, but your words are repeated back in your head.
Well, that's how language learning works. I say a word, then they repeat the word. That shows that they understand. So that's good. I approve of this learning method. Of all the weird shit that Dhesim has seen in his life, this is probably one of the more tame situations. So he's just going to take this as just a matter of fact, and we'll take Sriggick around the area, telling it words and introducing it to people, and gonna have to prepare a mat or something for it to sleep on in my room, and tell him how amazing it is to have my own room. I'm gonna share it with him, it, her,
It for now.
it, and they.
They is also completely valid.
And I'm going to, tell it how luxurious it is here in this room, and how special it is to be able to share it with them.
So John out of character, not Dhesim. I think you were referring to the diseased. Is that right?
Yes, the diseased.
You also do
No. The diseased are different. The diseased are carriers of disease, and they
from churn, right?
They work in the marshes to create new diseases and spread them using their slave pits, their slave pens, inoculating slaves with the disease and then sending it out to keep the disease alive. Now it's a different Slytherin.
Gotcha. I'll keep looking.
Warren.
You also do not believe this is a diseased. Like doesn't have
clearly
that.
no one else has like caught a disease already, so
right. But sometimes these diseases take a while to like really percolate.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I'm just gonna play dad. Even if it's not my own progeny, it's I'm taking this on very seriously.
So Pracha, you hear Dhesim lead Sriggick up the stairs. And you kind of glance out, and he's like got hold of its hand. You've actually noticed that Sriggick is now larger than Dhesim is, and he leads them up the stairs, and they disappear. And Braca, you can hear them walk by. Friede, what are you doing?
I was just sitting down, thinking about.
So you definitely
people.
Actually, let's do this. Make me a charisma saving throw.
Friede is charismatic. You can do well on this. Yeah, 19.
19. So as you're sitting there and you're thinking about this, it's almost like having the experience with Sriggick has like unlocked something in your mind, and you can remember getting up out of bed and a voice calling to you and you going down to the docks, and you're like standing on the docks, and this has happened several times. So like the time you're thinking of, you're standing on the docks, but you've been down on the beach and like essentially anywhere along that coastline that you've woken up, you can remember now going down to it. And there was this call in your head. You couldn't actually understand the words necessarily, but you got the intent of them. You can understand the will behind them. So you do know that there is a presence pulling you that direction. And every time like you go down and like that mark in your arm just like throbs with power, like it to the extent that there's like that sickly dark light that comes out of it.
Right.
Just like emanates beyond your flesh. And you just like sway and stare out at the ocean, and you feel like it's calling you, but so far you've never actually gone into the water.
Well, yeah, because water's weird.
Right.
All right. Well, first I have to apologize to my friends, because I think I remember like blaming them for like playing a prank on me.
It did
taking me down there. So I'm gonna have to apologize to them at some point. Not now. It's been a long day. But maybe tomorrow I'll like make them breakfast. Yeah. And I guess I will. Dhesim and Sriggick are upstairs. Prachia's inside, like doing research. And Braca is down here with me, or
also upstairs.
Upstairs. Yeah, it looks like we're getting ready to go to sleep. So I'm just gonna. I'll sleep early today. So I'll go upstairs and I guess I'll speak out loud. If you want me to come, tell me to do something. and then I'll start to get ready to go to sleep myself.
Gotcha. All right. Pracha,
Yeah.
what are you doing for the remainder of your evening?
Well, I'm going to lock up our doors, and then I'm going to booby trap them. Isn't quite the right word, but kind of booby trap them.
Yeah.
I am going to take. Actually, does the door open? This like when you open the door into the shop.
So
does
they
it
open
swing
outwards.
forward?
Yeah, they open outwards.
Okay, they open outwards. So somebody would have to pull on it.
Correct.
So I'm going to tie a string to, or a rope of some kind to the doorknob, and attach it to a bucket filled with as many loud, jangly things as possible. So in theory, if somebody opens the door, we'll hear it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to do the same for our back door.
Okay.
As well. As I secure it, and that's going to be our alarm system.
Make me a perception check.
Okay. Perception. There we go. That's a 9.
A 9. So as you're like that back door, I don't know if you recall this because it was a little bit ago. So that back door was like forced open by, so it's like it's kind of hanging open when you go to close it and like tie it shut. And as you look out, you can't really tell how many are out there, but like throughout the courtyard, which is dark now, there's no one like hanging out in the like common area. You notice like at least a handful of like little glowing green shapes skittering around in the dark.
Oh no!
Off in the courtyard.
Oh, no. There's gonna be more of them. Oh no! I'm gonna.
I just figured it out.
I go upstairs and knock on Dhesim's door.
Dhesim is speaking in Slytherin, but he gets really quiet when the door gets knocked on, because he's explaining the game to his new progeny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, that's where he starts.
I was gonna say if you're gonna start anywhere with a child's education,
You start with the game.
yeah.
The game, yes. The game is very important, you see, as this is one of the good things that Dhesim is good at, and he wants to make sure that he passes down these skills as quickly as possible, because Slytherin aren't known for living very long.
It's true.
At least, in Dhesim's experience. So he is rifling through that bag that he won in the game.
Okay. It's just full of coins.
Oh, how many coins?
58 silver total.
Oh.
Like, there's some
Well,
copper and stuff that all adds up to be 58 silver, but yeah.
Dhesim is thrilled. Will open the door to the room and just look up to see who's there.
Hi, Dhesim.
Dhesim holds up the bag of coins and gives it to Pracha.
Where did you get these?
It's for Pracha.
I'm not gonna look the gift horse in the mouth. Thank you, Dhesim. I wanted to let you. Dhesim, there are green glowing friends outside.
Glowing friends.
Green glowing friends outside. Yes.
Oh.
Similar to what Sriggick looked like before becoming Sriggick. So we may have more like Sriggick potentially. I could be wrong. They could just be glowing green, but just so you're aware.
Dhesim can go and find the friends.
That would be great if we can collect them all together and maybe give them a bath or something to wash that green. I don't know if that will help, but maybe that will help.
Well, the attempted drowning only happens after the 3rd day of life. If they can swim after 3 days of life, then they are worthy of going into the next phase of life.
Not drowning, just bathing, like washing.
Oh, in the Slytherin language, there is only, and he mentions the word, which means washing and drowning at the same time.
Okay, so not big on baths. Well, we can, try to the nicer version of that word. I know it's just one word, but we're not gonna we won't try to kill them, just wash them.
Oh, no, the idea is to try and kill them, but if they survive, then they are worthy of the next part of their life.
Oh, okay. if you could just try to gather them up, that would be great. Thank you,
Okay.
Dhesim. Have a great night.
Dhesim is happy to help.
Pracha, you definitely feel like you understand why Sajida was crying.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna take my silver downstairs.
Okay.
It's a bribe.
As you are going downstairs, Sajida's there's like a guest room that she stays in if she stays at the shop, and so she's like heading in there. She tells you good night.
Good, Sajida. Before you go to bed, I'm gonna count out half of the silver.
Okay.
And give her half of the silver. Because we're going to be gone adventuring, I want you to have at least a little cash on standby for any miscellaneous expenses. Okay?
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good night.
She shuts her door. Okay.
Gonna take the rest of the half. I'm gonna go back upstairs and hide it in my mattress.
Okay. Okay. All
That's
right.
gonna be a safe enough
Do you go to sleep after that?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, Friede has the street side
Correct.
bedroom. Okay. So do me 2 things. One, let's start with a charisma saving throw. And then I need a perception check at disadvantage.
Charisma saving throw 22.
Okay.
Perception check at disadvantage 8.
Okay. So sometime in the night, you're not really sure when, like the building is quiet at this point, you don't hear anyone walking around, but you sit up and you're just wide awake. And you feel this pull to go down to the ocean. There's no
Sriggick? No, you don't like water.
Yeah. And when you say it, there's definitely no like repetition of the words back to you.
Right.
What do you do? And even though you feel it, you aren't compelled to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Sriggick was nice enough. I've been down there multiple times. So I might as well like figure out what's going on.
I mean, what could go wrong, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna go downstairs and I guess just open the door.
Okay. Front door or back door? I mean, the back door leads to the courtyard, so it's hard to get out of there without going through somebody else's area. So I'm assuming the front door?
Yeah. But
Okay.
if I'm like fully aware, like yeah, whatever's easiest to get down there.
Okay. So you head down, you untie the front door and open it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you head out? So you start walking off, and it's definitely like pretty late at night or very early in the morning. You can't quite figure out what time it is. It's just dark, and Hiovu isn't there, and that coffee shop is closed down. So you're definitely, it's after hours as far as this area goes. Most everything closes down. But as you walk through the city, there are a lot of areas of the city that just never sleep. And so you see people walking around. You notice a lot of night workers.
Yeah.
Walking around with, men or women on their arms, and there's a lot of laughter, and it's kind of like is all present in your mind, but very much not important. Like, you're not distracted by any of these things. You feel that urge to just go down to the ocean. And you end up passing through the kind of shady dock area that you woke up in a couple of days ago. And you go out to this like little section of sandy beach that's just off of the docks, and you're just staring out over the water. What do you do?
I'm here. Are you here?
So you stand there for a few moments, and you're waiting for like some kind of answer, and you definitely start feeling this presence, and this doesn't really correlate to an ice person. You get this weird sensation that like creeps up your neck. I was gonna say the hairs on your neck stand up, but that's not a thing for you.
Nope.
So you get this like weird sensation as though you're not alone, and so you start getting really excited. Does a 23 hit you?
Possibly. I have to double check my
I just wanted to verify.
AC.
There is like this crack as something hits you in the back of the head, and you like your eyes, you definitely feel like one of them kind of goes off this way, like they hit you so hard that like your eye kind of rolls up and your other eye is kind of looking forward, and you're like, well, that's not what I was expecting. And you just like fall forward on the ground and you're unconscious.
I thought I was going to have a Sriggick friend, not a crack.
We'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Dhesim, you wake up and you hear like this scratching at your door.
I look over to the door.
Sriggick's over there, and he's like, they are just like clawing at the door, trying to like figure out how to get through it, and he like starts like chewing on the wood and pulling like chunks of wood off, as rats tend to do.
Yeah, I understand its impulse to chew at the door, for I also enjoy chewing at the door, but that's more for pleasure instead of trying to get out of the room. So I'm going to demonstrate how to open the door using the handle and latch.
Excellent.
And then kind of demonstrate the door opening and closing. And it probably is an ideal time to take it out to go to the bathroom, as I don't think, let it out since. And I'm going to go see if Braca wants to come with me for a walk.
Okay. Did you knock on the door, I'm assuming?
Yes.
So, Braca, there's a rap on your door.
Well,
Dhesim's going to take Sriggick to a walk.
Okay. Do you want family bonding time?
Come with Dhesim on a walk.
You hear very faint whisper. It's something in a different language. You may not speak Sutak, and then Brock's like, okay.
Dhesim will teach Gentle Master Braka how to sing songs of his people. This will be a good time for us to spend more time now that Dhesim is a father.
Hey, Dustin, while you've been talking to Braca through the door, you hear that scratching noise again, and you look over and you see Sriggick at Friede's door, and essentially they, I'm going to catch this sooner or later, is trying to like open the door and can't quite like figure out the latch thing, so he starts chewing it open again.
Again, I can appreciate the door chewing as it is a favorite pastime of mine, but I think now is a good time to teach Sriggick.
Skrillex, what?
Like which doors are okay to open and which doors are not okay to open. So I'll show Sriggick how to knock on the door, and then to wait. And then I'll demonstrate also with Braka, because Braka's behind a door, and see if Sriggick can understand how that works.
Sure. Do a, I don't know, just do an intelligence check.
Where's my mouse?
And Dhesim, as you're doing this, I've got Braka's got a question for you. You think Friede snuck out again? Because I didn't try chaining Friede up so he didn't wander off this time. So he might have wandered off.
And he definitely hasn't opened the door while you've been knocking.
Oh, that's weird. Intelligence, the 13.
Nice. Yeah, he gets it. Sriggick gets it.
Oh, good. So you're saying that the Gentle Master is missing, or has gone on a walk, or has perhaps gone to the house outside?
He may have. He may have wandered off again. Where did he say? I think he told us where he wandered off to last time, roughly. But I could have that wrong because it's been a while ago.
He goes to the lake made of salt.
Yep, that checks out.
We can go walk with Sriggick to the lake of salt and find the Gentle Master.
Yep.
I'm going to take Sriggick by the hand now that I'm how to knock and wait for an answer for allowance to get into the door. And we're going to go for a little walksies.
Okay. So you head downstairs, and as you get to the front door, like the rope that holds it shut is off, and the door isn't open, but it's not locked.
I'm going to go get Pracha.
Okay.
I'm going to have Sriggick demonstrate its new talent, its new skill, its life skill on asking permission. It's the first step, knocking on the door. I encourage you to go do that.
So do a persuasion check real quick.
Persuasion. That would be charisma. 16.
So as you're like, let's go back upstairs, Sriggick is like no, and starts like heading out the door.
Hey, Pracha, the door's unlocked and someone probably broke in. Normal alarm.
Bracha, you could do I feel like you're not sleeping all that well anyway, so you could do a persuasion check at just straight.
Hold on. Can I start yelling at Pracha with my booming voice?
Yeah,
saying,
absolutely.
Yep, and Sriggick's getting loose, so we chased him down for our reputation and safety. So wake up!
I rolled a 19 on perception.
Yeah,
so I
you
assume I wake
definitely
up.
hear them.
Get up. Put my shoes on. Strap my sword on. Go downstairs.
Okay. When you walk out of your room, you look over and you see Sajita's door is open, and she's just like leaning against the door, like wiping sleep out of her eyes.
Go
And,
back to bed.
Yeah, she just shakes her head, goes back in the room, and shuts the door. So essentially, there's this like little train leaving the shop as Sriggick is not really willing to wait, and Dhesim's trying to like keep him from running off while trying to yell at Pracha, and then Brock is shouting, and you all end up making it out the door. What do you do?
I'm going to chitter and Slytherin.
Okay.
Some early childhood songs that he remembers, like "Mama will eat your face if you don't listen," and "You're a worthless ratling, but you'll make a great sacrifice." Really classic, wholesome Slytherin songs,
Right.
that he remembers from his childhood.
And I feel like because your mom would have sung to you about Belsameth and stuff, the goddess of witches and all of that. So
Oh yeah,
anyone
Mormo will
yeah,
eat your tail.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Really wholesome songs.
Yeah.
Dhesim is very happily chirping out, as that seems to be the ideal thing to do for when you're walking your child in the streets.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Disturbing, but fair.
Hooray, Mormo!
Right? Yay!
Yay!
So, are you following Sriggick, or like where are you going?
Is Sriggick going in a beeline somewhere, or does it seem like Sriggick just wants to go for a walk?
He definitely seems to have. Sriggick definitely seems to have intent.
Oh, well, I guess it takes a while to learn how to heal, I suppose. And you don't really want a child to heal unless you're trying to tie them to the altar. So I guess we should see where Sriggick wants to go, which is probably in the same direction as the salty lake.
It does seem to be in that direction, yes.
Yeah. Clearly, Sriggick knows where we're going. We'll just go with Sriggick.
Okay. So you all follow Sriggick, and as you get through like more populated areas at this time of night, there are definitely like some gasps and some like muttered, "What the fuck is that?" as you guys are walking around, because Sriggick is still slightly glowing green, and he has like a shirt tied around his waist, but he also doesn't quite look like a Slytherin. So being that you're in Chelzar is probably lucky, because there are weirder things out there, but you guys definitely get a lot of like strange glances. There's some muttering, but no one stops you, and you arrive in the dock district and head down to the dock, and Sriggick is like sniffing the air and kind of looking around, and he leads you down to this beach and like starts rubbing the back of his head, their head.
I will assist with the rubbing of the back of its head. It must be a very tired little baby.
Braca and Pracho, what are you doing?
I'm gonna see if we can find Friede anywhere, just on a hunch of maybe we're being brought here for a reason.
Okay. How would you do? Like, are you gonna look around for him standing there, or are you like, where are you looking? I guess.
I'm gonna. I guess I'd start trying to look by maybe docks and then beach, and look to see if there not only for Friede, but any figures about Friede's size and height on the red, gotten a wound to the back of the head, and now they're eating sand.
Sure. Do a perception check. And while you're doing that, Pracha, what are you doing?
I'm looking at Dhesim's new baby that's taller than him.
Yeah.
And is Sriggick still rubbing the back of their head? Like
Yeah.
that?
Like it's kind of staring off almost dazedly and is rubbing the back of its head.
Okay. I'm actually gonna look around on the sand and see if I see anything around where Sriggick has stopped.
Okay.
Because that's weird. That's weird behavior even for
Right?
For babies.
So Braca, did you roll in? I guess I could just window over and check.
That's a 6.
But with Pracha's help, we're going to take your 22 instead. So
Yeah.
as you two are looking
Yay!
around, you both end up kind of seeing this area on the sand. And right now the tide is out, so you can tell where like a lot of the sand is like super smooth. But you notice like several tracks in the sand, and then there's like this kind of displaced area as though something had landed in the sand and then been drug away.
Can we follow the dragging marks?
Yeah, they head off over towards those docks over there.
Okay.
To the docks.
To the docks. Good job.
Excellent. So like as the sand runs out, you can see like where the trail goes for a little bit longer because the sand that was on their shoes and whatever they were dragging is kind of falling off and leaves this sandy smear across the wood of the docks, and it just leads to this empty like port where a ship would be.
Oh no. Shit.
Like someone has sailed off.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Everyone's just
ships
like
that sail. Do ships that sail off leave stuff behind, like trails? I don't think.
I mean, they
Rocco
leave
would know.
they leave wake,
Yes.
but
Ship.
there's no wake left, so the
gonna-
ship has probably left a while ago.
I'm gonna peer off to the horizon and see if I see any ships in the distance. And then I'm gonna try to find the dock master. Or the harbor master.
Go ahead and do a perception check.
Yeah.
Like it's
There we
definitely
go.
outside of your dark vision, but if they had like lamps and such on board, you'd see those.
Yeah. 12.
A 12, you don't see anything.
Okay.
Like you're scanning the horizon or where you think the horizon is. It's kind of hard to tell once you get so far out because the black of
Yeah.
the sky is just reflected in the water. You don't see anything.
Okay. I'm gonna go look around the docks then.
Okay.
See if I can find any people that may have seen the departure.
Sure.
Um,
While you're doing that, I just want to see what Braca and Dhesim
Yeah.
are doing.
What is Braca doing?
Looking around, confused, but probably going back to Dhesim to let him know what's going on.
What's going on?
So we saw some drag marks. Like someone may have took Friede out to a ship and then gone away on the ship. I don't know how to track ships. Camels, yes. Other people moving through the desert, yes. Ships, no. I don't get in the water.
Dhesim does not know how the salty lake works. But Dhesim does know that you must stand on a log vessel to cross, or you will have a bath.
Uh-oh. Yeah, so I think unless you help us find one of those logs, you're gonna have to take a bath.
Dhesim looks mortified and fearful, and is very quick to take this as a stern order because it came with a threat. And he is going to look for the closest, nearest, doesn't matter what shape it is, how well made it is, if it has holes, he's looking for a boat.
There are definitely a few like dinghies, like little rowboats and stuff that you'd like go out. They're not even like long boats, so you wouldn't fit a whole bunch of people in it to like go from dock to ship that's moored off of the coast. There are a few of those that are like fairly accessible, yeah.
Yeah, first one, closest one.
Okay.
I drag Brockaw to it, and I point, and I kind of grovel a little bit.
Does this craft look at all seaworthy like I would have any way of knowing?
I mean, it's floating currently. It's manual. You have to row it.
Sure. I mean, I'm kind of an expert on falling through holes, so I'm gonna look down and see if there seems like there's a hole in the boat I might fall
Yeah.
through.
You don't see any holes that you would fall through, and there's nothing like there's no water spouting through it.
All right, we're good. Can Fracha fit in here too?
You could fit the four of you, including Sriggick. You could all fit in there. Yeah, it would be a little tight with the three of you that are so Pracha, Braka, and Sriggick. You're all fairly large, but you could definitely fit in it.
Dhesim makes up for it for being relatively small.
Yeah.
So like he can squeeze. He is versed in the art of squeezing.
Right. So, Pracha, you see Braka and Dhesim at this like little dinghy rowboat, and they're kind of like talking with one another. You may get the feeling that they're like talking about whether or not they could take it out on the water, but you're like looking around for a witness essentially. So go ahead and do an investigation check.
Oh man. Good luck me. Let's see. If I can zoom into the sheet so I can see it a little bit better.
Yay, zooming.
Maybe not. Investigation. Here we go.
Oh, nice. So
Hey.
you find several people that are like kind of in the area. Many of them seem to be either drunk and just kind of slouching against a building, or some of them are coming back and heading to their ships. The ones that you ask that are coming back, they're like, no, we haven't seen anything. But you end up finding one guy who's just like leaned against a building, and the bottle that's in his hand probably was full but is now empty. It was probably full mere hours ago and is now empty from the way he smells.
Yep.
He did see something. It depends on how much it's worth to you on what he tells you, and he holds out his hand.
Okay. Well, I see that your bottle's empty.
It's broken. It's got a hole in it.
I know, it is broken. How about I get you a new bottle that's actually filled?
Oh no,
Oh, no.
We lost John.
Where'd John go?
That's all right. When he comes back, yes, I would like a new unbroken bottle.
Okay. Will you tell me information for that new unbroken bottle with some stuff
I
in
will
it?
tell you anything you want to hear.
Okay. Do you know? Have you seen anything strange? And do you remember a ship that was docked there? And I point to the location where there is no more ship docked.
He like clears his throat in this very loud, disgusting manner and hawks a loogie towards where the ship was. Spit on the stupid Calassians.
Oh, Calastians. Okay. Good to know. Thank you. Do you remember what the ship's name was?
No. What do you
Okay.
want me to remember it being called?
No, that's fine. Do you know which direction the ship was going?
It wasn't going that way. And he like points back
No.
towards town.
Do you remember which direction out there, though? And I point towards the ocean.
Let's see if he remembers or not. Hang on a sec. He gestures kind of off away from shore, obviously, but you get the feeling he's pointing more towards the east than he is west.
Okay. Great. Awesome. Let's get you a drink. Which is the closest and probably cheapest bar?
There's actually one like right over there.
Okay. Stay there. I'll be right back with your drink. Okay?
Will do.
Okay. And I'm going to go in. I assume he got thrown out because he was too drunk anyway. So I go
Probably.
in there. And I'm going to purchase some of the cheapest alcohol I can, but
Yeah.
in a larger volume.
For like 5 copper, you can essentially get this like gallon jug of something that smells like it
Perfect.
takes paint off.
Perfect. Yes, moonshine. Great. Give it to me.
When you come back, he's like licking his hand and like smoothing his hair back.
Hey.
Gonna hand him the bottle of moonshine. There you go. Thank you so much for all of your help.
Thank you.
Information.
Is there anything else you want me to tell you?
Did you see a person that may have gotten onto the ship? He may have looked drunk or knocked out.
What do you want me to tell you? Yes or no?
You're fine.
I'm fine. He
Yeah,
kind of
you
like
are.
slips
Good job.
some over.
Good job. Thank you. Enjoy your drink. Have a great morning.
Go ahead and make me an insight check.
Okay. See insight.
Do.
Should be right there.
Do you know what your bonus is? I'll just roll it.
I think it should. Insight's under
Wisdom.
wisdom, right? So it should be 0.
Okay. So you're looking at him. You were pretty sure he would tell you literally anything you wanted him to tell you in order to get that bottle, but you're pretty sure the information that he gave you about the ship is correct.
Okay.
He felt pretty honest about it.
Yeah. All right. So he knows about the ship. I'm gonna hand over the bottle to him.
Okay. He
Yep.
just like snuggles up with it, takes some sips, and then passes out.
Great. I'm gonna go back to my crew
Okay.
of individuals.
So as you head over there, like just the very beginnings of dawn are starting to like color the horizon, so you can see the sky separate from the water. And you reach Braca and Dhesim and Sriggick, and they're like talking about the ship and whether it's seaworthy. What do you do?
So, hey guys. Turns out Calastians are involved. It was their ship, and they went over in that direction. And I point towards
That's
the
not good.
general direction that the drunk person.
And
Points
Pracha,
at
having
southwest
lived in this
east-ish.
area for as long as you have, that general direction is Calastia.
Oh no.
Well, we've got one of their other smaller ships right here. So I say we go take it and.
So that's a rowboat.
Like I said, one of their smaller ships.
I'm not sure if we can row all the way to Calastia.
That does seem a bit excessive.
We can. I thought we just had to catch up with their ship, or is that not going to work?
Well, usually rowboats are slower than frigates, and I assume that this was a sailing ship of some kind.
You got that feeling, yeah.
With the size of the dock, and so with that in mind, we have to probably charter a smaller, faster ship if we want to catch up to that ship, but we have no money right now.
Oh, so we just have to borrow a bigger ship, is what you're saying? I mean, we'll bring it back.
Dhesim understands borrow. Dhesim is a very good borrower.
It's all part of the game, right?
The game.
You see, Dhesim's on board.
Yes, but we. Oh, all right. Actually,
There's been a kidnapping. It's an emergency.
Yeah.
People understand.
Yes, but maybe we can find the harbor master or something, because I can't imagine that Friede is one of the sort of one of our citizens, right? Did he ever file his
Am I like
paperwork?
official? I don't. It's been like 6 months. I don't know if I like.
Right.
Oh no.
Braca would have absolutely filed papers, by the way, ASAP.
Good to know. So I think for this week, we'll call it here with the four of you standing on the end of the dock trying to figure out how to follow after this unnamed ship that has disappeared into the night, potentially with Friede on it. Friede, you and I will have to talk after this. Some mano y mano as far as what is going to happen. And then we'll pick up next week. Yeah, and we'll go from there. So for now, let's have everyone do their introductions. Braca, why don't you start us off?
I'm sorry, I think you were calling on me, but you cut out of it.
I was. Go for it.
Hey, excellent. I'm Noah Grand, and I play Braca Blue, who you all have just found out likes a bit of larceny. And when I'm not playing Braca, I find things that you should very much buy and not steal that I have written on the DM's Guild.
Yeah, you're not being a very good influence on our followers, are you?
And you can follow me at Noah Grand on Twitter.
Awesome. Dhesim, how about you?
Well, my name is Dhesim, and I make whiskey in Ireland, and I play a bunch of nerdy games.
Yeah.
And I totally stomped Jeremy's ass in Scythe.
Oh man, we played Scythe for the first time yesterday, and I got owned.
Yeah, it was murder. It was murder.
Yeah, first time.
You can find me on Instagram, Distillosaurus Rex, where I post pictures of my adventures here in the Emerald Isle and of things all related to whiskey generally and food. There's usually pictures of food.
And for now, I'm. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Everyone needs to look at food. It's really
true.
important on Instagram.
And for now, because you don't have a Twitter, I'm just on Twitter. I'm doing #Dhesim. Whenever I'm talking about you.
Nice.
My plot is to get him to make a Dhesim Twitter account and only speak in character. So if you think that's a good idea, you should #Dhesim on Twitter, and we'll get it. We'll start the movement.
Good.
Friede, tell us about yourself.
So I play Uncle Friede, who is sadly missing. Sadly missing. And when I'm not being like abducted, I'm a master student who studies like video games and D&D and music and storytelling and like all kinds of like interactions between those things.
Nice. All right, Pracha.
Hello. My name is Catie. I played Prachi on the show. I am a writer. You can follow me at Catie Griffin Writer on Facebook, or you can visit my website, www.mostprobable.com. And when I'm not writing, I am helping with weddings. So,
Yay.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. And I am Jeremy Hochhalter. I'm the Dungeon Master for Curiosity Cache. You can find me on Twitter at WHPubs or on Facebook, also WHPubs or Wonders Haven Publications. You could go to whpublications.com is my website. And since no one's watching this live today because of the joy that is the internet these days, go ahead and follow over at Twitch at WH Publications. And when we go live, you'll get notifications in the future when we're back over there. And you can come chat with us while we play. For now, everyone please stay safe, stay healthy. What's it? Don't touch your face, don't wash your hands. No, other way around. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. Don't be Dhesim.
Yes. Oh.
Awesome.
Doesn't know what to do.
Right?
It's spread the plague. Spread
Right?
it wide.
I mean-
demands it.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, have a good time. See you everyone next time. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.